Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech, and today we are going to be checking out my brand new HDMI Capture, which is the Cloner Box Evolve. So let's get started. So for the past couple of weeks, you guys probably seen my HDMI Capture is horrendous. Anytime I did a review on a desktop or something like that, the graphics was just really bad. And Cloner Box heard me on this and they decided to send me this unit along with another unit, but that's still in the mail. But yeah, mainly what I was excited for was this HDMI Capture. So let me give you guys a little bit of a backstory on everything. So for 90% of all my videos back in the past, I've recorded everything off this box, which is the AGP Tech HDMI Capture. And this is also very similar to what I just got. It doesn't require a PC to record anything, and it'll just put everything straight to a USB or SD card. And it's something that I really needed from the start of this channel. Now, this guy finally died. It does not recognize any resolution, and it only displays at the lowest resolution possible, which is 1078 or whatever it was. And I can't record with that anymore, so I needed to get a brand new one. Now, don't get me wrong, while this thing is cheap, and I'll leave a link down in the description where you can get the newer version of this, I had issues with this ever since the start. Audio doesn't sync properly. It only records in 30 frames per second, and the mic port and all that other stuff doesn't work as well. And when the audio does capture, it's never synced up. So sometimes when I record a video for 30 minutes, this might end up to be a 32-minute video for some odd reason. So when I'm editing or when I have to do anything with HDMI Capture, I am scared just to edit this because I know the footage is not going to come out perfect. But it worked. The video came out good. The footage is good. So I just never decided to change it up until it died. So my next up was this guy. This is the guy that I just bought recently, and you guys been complaining about the image quality. This is terrible. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. This is a USB 3.0 HDMI Capture, and I needed something that I was like, hey, now that I built a computer here, I could just completely film off this desktop and offload the processing over to the desktop. But I did not know how bad the image quality this guy was gonna be. I've used it a couple of times and I just can't fix it. Whatever settings there is in the system, I don't know what it is. It just won't line up the colors correctly. So yeah, after using this for a couple of weeks, this is gonna be going in the garbage. What this is good for, and my whole point of getting this was because I wanted to do more live streams and I could actually hook up HDMI, a camera to the HDMI and then plug it up to my desktop and do live streams with it. But with the video quality being that bad, I ditched that idea for now. Cloner Box did send me something similar to this, and that's still coming in the mail, but I mainly needed this capture card. Now, this capture card is very impressive so far. The quality is almost identical to this, if not even better, because I could actually get up to 4K on this if I needed to. So let me talk about this box a little bit. First, it does work off a remote, so you have a full remote, and don't lose this because this sets up everything for this guy, so you need the remote no matter what. In here, 2 HDMI inputs, so you could choose between the 2 sources. You have AV input, so you could actually use composite video and composite audio. Then you have 1 HDMI out, and then you have a micro USB to the PC, and then another tiny little barrel all the way at the other end just for power. On one side, you have a micro SD card for your capture or a USB, which is cool. You can use either one. And in the front, you have your IR, which is for the remote, and a little light that tells you what's going on with this box when you just have it on the corner of your eye. And then on the opposite side, you have a mic input and then also a headphone input so you can hear what's coming into this box. Now, what I like about this compared to this, 1, the audio works, obviously, but 2, is that everything comes on screen. So as soon as I hit recording, you will see the recording icon on the top left. When you go into the menu, it pops up on your actual screen on the menu, and you could configure everything you want. You could even schedule, so if you're planning to use this for TV recording, you could schedule the time to when it turns on. There's also a lot of other settings in there that you could play around with, none of which you could do with color, but there is an option where you could change the bit rate. So if you want a bigger or smaller file, you would just change it. So I go for the largest file possible with SD cards and USBs being so cheap. Why not get the biggest file possible? And you could change the resolution. Now, as far as the 4K input, it does do 4K input, but it doesn't do 4K output. So it will scale it down to a 1080 if you're going to do 480. So if I have it on my desktop right now, I could set the resolution to 4K, but no matter what, it'll output as 1080, which is fine if I need to record 4K just to get that footage out and also be displaying on my screen. And most of my screens are still 1080 anyway. I only have like one 4K monitor. Otherwise, this works really well. You have one power button on top to turn it on, and that's about it. Everything else is controlled through the remote, and you control the volume input, the mic input, everything through this remote itself. Here's a couple of clips from 3 of these guys. My original AGP, then the crappy USB one that I got, and then this Evolve, and you could see the quality difference between the 3. Basically, I have this computer outputting to the Evolve through here, input, then the output of this to this guy, and I figured out that in order to get the resolution that I need to record, I have to get something like that to forcefully set it to 1080. But so I was able to get this going, then output this to my little USB guy, and then that's the input, and then the output back to my regular monitor. So I have 3 captures going on at the same time, and the results are like this. This way I could get the OBS to capture the HDMI from the USB 3, outputs to my regular monitor, and then I can get these guys to record at the same time. This way you can see all 3 footages at the same time. So here it is. On here from Novaspirit Tech, and today we are going to be building our budget NAS and Plex setup with hardware decoding. So let's get started. So I want to thank Micro Center for sponsoring this build. They're the ones that actually provided the hard drives, motherboard, CPU, RAM, and everything. Now for the case and the graphic card, I ended up purchasing myself. Now I did go to the Micro Center store, even though you can actually purchase this stuff online or actually reserve it online and pick it up at the store. I usually like to go because of the build your own section. I like to go there and see if I'm missing anything or if I need to pick up more when I'm there. And you can see it's almost very similar to my first one, if not better. So it's really cool how I finally got one that I needed. And this one is, like I said, it's PC-less, if that's a word. You don't need a computer to actually record. And there's a USB input that you could plug it into a computer, but since it's a USB 2, there is a significant lag, so you can't do live streaming with this box. That's why I'm still waiting for the other device that they're going to be sending over to me. Well, that's it for me, guys. I was really excited to get this product. I do wanted to make a video about it because they sent it over to me. I'll have all the links down in the description below. And I was actually a little bit nervous about recording like desktop reviews and Linux builds and all that stuff, just because my HDMI capture was so terrible. I didn't want to make those videos. But now, since I got this, those videos will be on the way. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing. Also hitting that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as I say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.